Hi and welcome to this Money IQ help video. This is all about what expenses can I claim against tax. Okay, the main principle is that any expense must be what's called wholly and exclusively business related. The two key words there are wholly, in other words, all of the expense is for business, and exclusively, in other words, it's not split for private and business, it's for business. For example, things like business property, marketing costs, communications, printing stationery, equipment, travel, and subsistence costs are all things that could be construed as business related, so they are allowable. Let's look at in detail then. Business property. If you've got a business property, you can charge all the direct costs of a proper business office to your accounts. Those things like rent rates, energy, maintenance costs and other bits and bobs. If you're working from home, you can do it in a couple of ways. Number one is to calculate the costs on a basis of a proportion, and that proportion is worked out using area and time. That's quite a complicated calculation. Contact us if you need some help. The other way is to use an allowance for use of home as office, which is a lot easier, and if you Google that you'll find it on the HMRC website. Marketing costs, things like advertising, print, online, events, all those are allowable. Networking, that's pursuing business, so that's okay. Print costs and everything to do with the internet website, that's obviously allowable. So along those themes, communication, you've got phone, mobile, internet, and your website costs. All these costs are allowable for business. Travel and subsistence is probably the trickier one. Travel for work outside any normal commuting is allowed. So things like food and drink during the day on journeys outside the normal pattern of work. Overnight accommodation on work journeys is allowable, and if you are staying overnight, then dinner and breakfast is allowable as well. This relates to an idea of what's called a base of work. So do you work from an office or do you work from home? And that it forms part of your normal pattern, because it's travel outside the normal commute which is allowable. So if you're doing it with a car, you could do it on the basis of, say, mileage. There's mileage rates. Again, Google those, you'll find them. Or the full cost, the actual full cost of the actual running the car with all the bits and bobs associated with it. Things like penalties and fines, speeding fines, parking penalties, that sort of thing, they're not allowable. That's considered an individual error of judgment. And things like Oyster top-ups, if any element of that is used for personal travel, that's not allowed either. In terms of subsistence, say meals, that sort of thing, it's the one-offs that are allowable and the ones that are not part of the normal work pattern. So things like if you stay away, you've got to be reasonable about it, and you can't charge alcohol unless it's part of a meal. And they actually do state on the HMRC website that it's one drink or half a bottle of wine that they will allow. So here at Money IQ, obviously we try to help people with all those accounting challenges. This video is part of a series in a library helping with various aspects of it. But of course, if you have a specific need or query, then please do get in touch.